Hey, this is the fourth of the Astro Operator Guides, and this week we're talking about Leeway. We've already talked about Dock, Fort, and Probe in previous weeks. If you want to see those, there should be a playlist linked in the description or in the little card. Leeway, the designated marksman, has 1 health, 2 armor, and 2 mobility. Being the designated marksman, he has a variety of weapons that excel at long range. In his weapon pool, he has the PSR, the AMR, the M53, SVD, DMR, and for secondaries, he has the CDP, FOP, IDW, and APS. As far as equipment, he has the EMP grenade, smoke launcher, snapshot sensor, motion sensor, and HE grenade. And finally, for gadgets, he only has the grapple hook and the momentum brake. Being a sniper, I try to play Leeway my own unique way. Usually I was playing on an island, trying to force the team into my other teammates or trying to fend them off myself, but I found it pretty fun and pretty challenging playing that way. During my time, I used the PSR, the M53, and the AMR, and I cannot stress this enough, do not learn 2 different snipers at the same time. I did this, and basically I would learn one, get used to it, swap to the other one, and be bad, because it's different, has different stats, has a different feeling. And I'll swap back, and because I used the other one, everything's all mixed up. Just keep it simple and do one at a time. Anyway, let's get to the good and the bad. Starting off the good things, Leeway is self-explanatory. If you know snipers, you pretty much know Leeway, for the most part. There are some things that make him a little different, but for the most part, he is a sniper. Moving on to the next good point, snipers are pretty balanced. Now, I'm not talking about the DMR or the SVD. I feel like those are only in his weapon pool to counter the probes that also have that, but I'm talking about the PSR, the M53, and the AMR. My opinion, I feel like those are really balanced as snipers, and even though a lot of people say that Leeway is really overpowered, I don't feel the same way. Anyway, moving on to the next point, I feel like the snapshot sensor is amazing. Basically, all you have to do is you shoot it however far distance-wise, and you right click to make it detonate, and anyone that's in line of sight, anyone on the map, gets pinged. So shooting that into the spawn can reveal a ton of players, or maybe that sniper you're trying to look for. I just feel like it's really useful, and there's no real downsides of using it other than like waiting for the detonation. Before we get to the bad points, I do have one bonus one that it's not exactly to his kit, except for the gun that is in his kit. Anyway, he has the AMR, and the AMR can be used to do movement stuff. You can boost with the AMR. I'm going to explain more in a video once I get more experience with it, but essentially, it's real useful. Anyway, moving on to the bad, bullet punch. I despise bullet punch. Basically, if you are getting shot at or if you're getting hit, your camera shakes, making that shot even more hard to hit. Next up, AMR's deepened progression. Now, I put this as a bad point because you start off with the PSR and you have the M53, and those are good, but when you have to fight heavier targets like Fort or Orland, I feel like you would need to hit headshots. And if you're not the most accurate person, the AMR may be the solution, but you have to get 20 levels in to use it. Not saying it's a crunch gun, but it's something to switch things up and to be a little bit easier for some players, but you have to get to it. Next up, bullet punch. I really got annoyed by it, if you can tell. Anyway, we're gonna move on. The last bad point is that there's no reason to use shorter barrels on bolt snipers. AMR, you can use it for AMR boosting, but for the bolties, I feel like there's too much of a hit to muzzle velocity for it to be worth it. So normally I ask these 2 questions separately, but I'll ask them together this time. So, did I enjoy my experience, and would I main Leeway? So from my experience, I probably would not main Leeway, and it's because my experience had its ups and downs, and just the playstyle just doesn't suit me, I feel. Basically, I like the thrill of the hunt versus fishing. Like, when they're playing sniper, I feel like you're sitting back waiting for kills to come to you, whereas playing, let's say, Spike, you're going and searching for people, and I like that a little bit more than just going and getting multi-kills, trying to fend off your territory essentially. Now, there's nothing wrong with that playstyle or fishing. It definitely has its challenges and sense of achievement, but for me, I like getting in there and quote-unquote getting dirty, if you know what I mean. And that's a little bit more viable as a Spike or a Dock or even an Orland, but I would say that I'm open to playing Leeway here and there just to have some fun and mix things up. Now, if I were to main Leeway, I would use the PSR, CDP, snapshot sensor, motion sensor, knife, and grapple. And if I wanted to have a little bit of fun, I'd use the AMR with the IDW, smoke launcher, EMP, knife, and grapple. Essentially, the default loadout would be going for snipes, quick scopes, you know, if I ever need to pull it out just to take care of snipers on a certain map, that's what I would go with. But the AMR, I wouldn't use as a sniper, I would do AMR boosting, which essentially I'm shooting in the opposite direction to use the momentum to go forward, and then use the IDW to essentially get kills, because I feel like it's really fun to hip fire people with the IDW. Finally, some thoughts for improvements. The first one I will say probably won't happen because people feel like Leeway is OP already. I disagree, but nonetheless, I feel like something needs to be done about the bullet punch and slow ADS problem. Both of those together makes mid-range fights extremely annoying, and I don't mind having slow ADS if I don't have bullet punch, which is messing up my aim, and I don't mind having bullet punch if I can have a faster ADS, which maybe that's on me, I don't know, let me know. The only other thing I could think of is making short barrel worthwhile, maybe increasing the ADS or increasing the muzzle velocity, just making it so it's a little bit more balanced. I feel like there's a lot of negatives than there is positives using the short barrel. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, leave that down in the comment section below. Next week we're going to be talking about Orlan, which is the weapon masters. He has all the guns in the game, but we'll get to that next week. Hope you guys have a nice one. I'll catch you next time.